So this session is called Experience Evangelists. So customer experience is often either kind of overlooked or assumed that it simply relates to the time you spend with your customers on your tour or delivering your product and service. Whereas actually in reality, it relates to the entire journey the customer takes, from research to making a booking inquiry, to actually making the booking, to the pre-tour information, to turning up on the tour delivery, of course, and then the post-tour communication. So we're going to be exploring that today and looking at some examples and ideas for how you can make sure that you're on top of that end-to-end process. So our panelists for this session are a gentleman called Alex Mead, a specialist customer experience executive. So Alex has guided some of the largest travel businesses in their customer experience strategy, including British Airways. Alex believes customers should get epic service experiences, easy, personalized, intuitive, and contextual. But actually thinks most companies are a long way from that. And then we have our president, our host, our commander-in-chief, Von Harden, who, as most of you know, has run a successful student tour business for over 20 years now, gathering some extremely loyal customers along the way. And Von is passionate about service and about that service delivery, as anybody who will have worked for him knows. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for both taking your time to talk to us on this session. Really appreciate it. And Alex, massive appreciation for you, because you're actually in Bahrain, aren't you? Which means it's 11 o'clock at night now, or quarter past 11?
18 minutes past midnight, but it's okay.
18 minutes past midnight, okay. So I won't ask you how many glasses of wine you've had waiting for this session.
This boat has a little bit of Jack Daniels in it, so I'm fine. But I can still say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's cool. Cool. Well, listen, we're very relaxed and open here at Tour Pros and IATGG. So, Von, you have an interesting analogy that you liken the customer service to, or kind of the customer experience to. So, would you like to kind of, give your pitch?
My pitch, yeah, it's interesting choice of words. I would. So when I think about customer experience, I think about online dating, right? So I'm recently divorced a few years, so I've tried online dating before. So when I think of this, I think about it in very much the same way. So that was the first thing that popped in my mind when we talked about this session. It relates very well because essentially that's what we're doing, as business owners, is we're courting our customers, right? So I'll break it down into three little boxes, right? Same as online dating, right? So the first would be the search experience. The second would be the communication experience. And the third would be the service experience, right? So anyone who's done online dating or maybe dating in general, has a good idea of what I'm referring to. So I'm going to be cautious about, we'll address that later. So the first thing, and I'll talk about it from the standpoint of dating and how it relates, and Alex can talk to you about, as him being an expert, talk to you about it from the customer service experience. So in the search experience, I think about setting up my profile and making sure that I'm easy to find, and my profile is attractive, and have all the right information on there. And, the customer or prospective customer is able to see what's important to them, and of course that I'm easy to, contact if they decide that they like what they see. Alex, tell us how that relates and how that's very parallel to the experience for an operator.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate or unfortunate enough to work for big companies like International Airlines Group, who own British Airways, Iberia, Vueling, and Aer Lingus. But I've also worked for a golf travel company, Golf Breaks. I worked for TravelSphere many years ago when they owned Page & Moy, Just You, so small size operators. And the first thing you realize is if a customer is doing a Google search, so you're on a dating, you start with Google, I want a date, and you'll be hit with UDate or Match.com. I'm not an SEO expert, but there needs to be a tagline. Why should that company be better than the other one to talk to? So The analogy is, don't say book with us, we're the cheapest. People may click on that, but book with us, we'll give you something different, or date with us, we'll give you something different. And at the Golf Travel Company, only 5 years ago, we said you can manage your entire booking experience through an app better than Amazon's. What? We're setting an expectation. And people think of Amazon as customer service experience. And the point I've noticed you and Adam have jumped between customer experience and customer service experience. To me, it's customer service. And people have lost track of what that means. It means I can do everything I want. I can interact with the company or the organization how I want to, when I want to, and easily. So if you take a dating app or a travel site, the first thing you have is, okay, something needs to catch my eye in terms of why I should choose you as an organizer, a tour operator, even an airline group. And it won't be price related because there's so many comparator sites can do that anyway. So you click on the site and the first thing you want to think is, okay, what is there that is different to everyone else's? So you've got to think about, and to be honest, what's different, and I've worked in multiple sectors, the world of travel and leisure is bad at multi-channel customer service. It really bad being full of opportunity to be better is a way you could say it, but to be honest, it's bad. You have to, you send emails, you sit in call center queues. You've got to make it so easy for a customer just to ask a question. So if it's a dating app, hey, you say you like U2, tell me about the last concert you went to. You can tell they're lying straight away, you know. If they say the U2 360 tour, that's 10 years ago. Well, you're not really a fan, you're out of date. I'm a U2 fan, that's my analogy. But if they say, hey, here's a photo of me at the O2 last year, suddenly you've not only pulled digital content in, you've reinforced your reputation. And pretty much every company on the planet now says, we put customers at the heart of everything. So don't give that baloney, give something specific. So you're somebody who does tours on the Nile, there's hundreds of operators there. Don't show photos of people hawking you mini pyramids and camels. Show them something that says, we will understand what you as a customer want. Do you want a slow itinerary? Do you want to be able to stay on the cruise ship and not get up at 6 a.m. to see the Temple of Luxor? Or do you want to? So really, I mean, it's got to be personalized. And when I say epic, easy, personalized, intuitive, and contextual, it's different for every single customer. So you can't just roll out, we are epic. So if you're on a dating app, you see a profile you're interested in, make that you could be interested in that profile because it's something different to everyone else. So I'll stop now because I know you want to go on to stage 2, but yeah, you have to make it something different to everyone else, but also not different. People aren't stupid these days. It can't be marketing baloney.
Right.
We're doing because we will do this for you as a customer, and here's some proof of that. Here's our Trustpilot review. Here's our photographic evidence of customers who can do things different to others.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's got to be authentic because that's certainly going to come through in the next couple of stages. So you want to, make sure that you are authentic. And the first piece is just being there, being able to be found. When someone's searching, you got to be in the game, right? So you got to be able to be found. And, like you said, you're not going to be attractive to everyone, right? But, you be authentic about, what your business is and who you are, and you'll attract the right customer because, at the end of the day, if it's not a good match in terms of customer, then the relationship is not going to get very far. So that's the most important thing, being found, being in the place to be found, having something that's attractive, having the right information about yourself there, about your business there. So, if they do decide.
I think as well, sorry to jump in there, but from my
Sure.
point of view, I get slightly frustrated when I see either tour guides, tour operators try to sell their experiences or their tours by using kind of a combination of under the skin of the destination. We'll show you the real back streets. We'll take you on the untrodden path. We'll show you the hidden destination. We'll take you nowhere. No, you bloody won't. You just won't, right?
Yeah.
This has been in brochures. People talk about hidden gems and wow moments. This has been in brochures for 15 years.
Yeah,
right? This has been
absolutely.
mainstream holiday marketing for 15 years. Okay, we have to move on.
Yeah.
that's
Sorry, I'm the moderator. I'm supposed to be asking
No,
the
no,
questions.
that's good stuff.
I just feel pissed off and passionate about that point that we
I love
haven't
that
seemed to
passion.
move on from that. Anyway, sorry, Von, carry on with your online dating fantasy.
On that point, I noticed on the comments, SEO optimization is key. It absolutely is, but that's why you need to have a USP. Okay, there are 50 different tour operators that can give camel rides in Tunisia. Don't give a USP, as you just said, Adam. We will show you the back streets, because they will always say that. Say something different. We will know all your preferences the second you arrive, and we will give you something different. And the different needs to be on customer service experience. So I can't give you the generic answer, but you need to think what you could give that's better than others. And it can be, you can manage your booking on a social WhatsApp platform. There's so many things you can do that are different, and customers will Google things, these SEO words. They won't Google, hey, I want an operator that will show me the back streets of Marrakesh, because you're right. There's customers are sick of that too. They'll Google operators that will allow me to manage my booking with my friends on WhatsApp. They'll Google specific customer service things. So that's, I agree completely, Adam.
Cool, thanks. Okay,
Yeah,
Von, sorry, carry on, man.
No, absolutely. I was just going to add to that, every business, just like every dater, is not going to appeal to everyone else. So you want to be authentic about who you are, and you'll attract the right customers. So the next phase, let's say, the search goes well. They're searching for me. They find my profile and they like it. So now we move to communication. So we're like, okay, now I like the way you look, and now I want to talk to you on the phone or via text, right? So everything goes well. We decide to kind of take it to that next level of talking. Basically, very similar to business, as Alex will bring up, how, am I available, right? Am I going to be available? Am I going to be responsive? They send me a text. Am I going to respond back, right? As a person looking to gain their interest, do I sound knowledgeable about the things that I've advertised in my profile? Like he said, am I, I talked about I like YouTube to try to appeal to the YouTube people, but when they ask me questions about it, do I really know what I'm talking about, right? Because that is how people, that's you speak to your credibility. Do I sound like I'd be an easy person to date or to work with, right? And do I follow up with them when? No, would not be. And do I follow up with them when promised? So all of that is part of the communication experience. These are all different parts of that full, as Alex mentioned, it's customer service experience, right? So this is the communication piece. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so two things. First of all, you have to make sure you don't ever reply generically. It needs to be personalized. So if Lon, you were lucky enough to get 20 ladies reply to you, you can't copy and paste the same answer.
Yeah. Hey, beautiful. Hey, beautiful.
So seriously, you have to it goes all the way back actually to the way you capture the driver behind that interest. And Adam, I remember all the way back from my days at TravelSphere, customers would phone up and say, hey, I want to book a trip for the pyramids and the Nile cruise. I use that analogy again. And we looked on the complaint system. They'd complained about the pyramids and the Nile cruise for the previous 3 years. But we'd book it for them. They'd complain again. They wouldn't pay any extra money. We actually said, okay, why are you interested in that tour? Well, I like it, and I like old ancient buildings, history. But I always find the itinerary too stressful. The food's not great. Well, did you know we have a different itinerary? It's Tunisia and Morocco. You still get the ancient artifacts, or Iran, or wherever. It's a slower agenda. You're with people a bit classier. Careful with the language you use. People all of sort. It's £150, £250 more per person. They bought it every time, because we didn't just say, what's your tour booking code, and take the booking. So all the way back to, if you get a lead from a lady, you don't say, okay, let's meet in Hard Rock Cafe. You say, okay, let me understand your interest. Make sure before we even agree anything. And there's no point in taking a lead, an opportunity that is never going to be turned into a booking, because you're wasting your time. And actually all you're doing is giving the customer, this company's a waste of time. They'll never use you again for everything. And sometimes it's better to say no to hey, I want to book this tour, this holiday, because you get under the skin of why they want it. So back to your analogy, you've agreed you're going to have a conversation and arrange to meet, but you have to make sure that agreement is based on agreed fundamentals. So if you say, in travel, in airlines, and again, back to a small tour operator analogy, I was with a company, the customers would have to phone up. They had this amazing website and hundreds of thousands of digital brochures. You looked in the brochure or the website and you found the holiday you were interested in. The only way to make contact was picking the phone up. So when you pick the phone up, you have to explain the holiday you're interested in, the dates. If you're doing it digitally, you don't have to explain that. It's already in at the front foot of the interaction. So all the way back to dating apps now, the WhatsApp, their social media. So you have to make sure it's easy for a customer to not have to explain stuff they already have explained to you in another way. So if they've clicked on a holiday or a tour or a set of options, they've clicked a wizard, got to make sure you pull that through. But in this analogy, let's take the scenario where you've agreed to meet someone. Like you said, the travel analogy is, okay, come to our offices. We'll give you the video tour of our potential video brochure of our potential tours. There's lots of companies sell these things. We'll email it to you, and the video is, again, it's generic. It's like, here we are. Here's lots of people going surfing in Hawaii. Jesus, I didn't want to go surfing in Hawaii. I wanted to go to Hawaii because I wanted to stay in a nice hotel and sit on the beach. So it's all about personalization. But the biggest point, without doubt, is when you arrange to meet, make sure you're not meeting blindly. So every piece of information, you have to make sure you ask the right questions up front. So why are you interested in this? You don't ask them how much to spend. It's clearly not the thing to ask. But if you ask them why they're interested in it, you get an idea of the drivers, and then you can realize, okay, so you like high action, high octane activities, and you're going to Dubai. What about the windsurfing? What about the pyramids where you can go quad biking? All those things, the sand dunes. So if you turned up on a date and you took the date to an Italian restaurant, oh, I hate Italian food. You're screwed, honey, from the start. So there's a very simple analogy. I didn't want to go in a posh restaurant where I had to dress up. I wanted to go to McDonald's and go 10-pin bowling. So don't just blindly around. It's this specific personalization that needs to be king in the future, for sure.
Yeah, that's why that communication is key. That communication piece is a big part, because you want to make sure that there's a good understanding of what the customer is going to get, and what they're in, which you can deliver as a service provider. So I think that's huge, right? You have that communication, but you also want to make sure that they have a good experience even in that process, right? So even in that process, even if it doesn't get to the point of an agreement to do business, in that process, you sound knowledgeable about what you promise that you can deliver. That you, like you said, you respond to them timely, and you get back to them immediately as you need to, and that you follow up as probably, and you sound like you'd be a good, if they did decide, maybe they do decide to go with you, that you'd sound like you'd be a good company that they want to work with. People work with who they like. So, that communication is great.
I'll give a more substantive answer. Something I did that drove conversion rate by over 300% is, if you think about most companies, you email a customer quote. That's how you do it. And if you make a booking, you have an app or a website to manage your booking. I actually created a process where you can manage your quotation in the website or the app. And what that allowed us to do was the customer shared their quotation with their friends or their family. To share it, they would have to send the link to someone else. And when they shared the link, the person they shared it with had to give their email address to access the quotation. And we, as the tour operator, suddenly had the information for the other people that were not the tour booker. But then 7 or 8 people were all looking at the same 3 or 4 quotations we sent to them. And they could ask themselves questions back and forth. We used it as a social media banter board, we called it. Oh, I like the look of this one, but I prefer this one. And we could see the information they were asking amongst themselves. But what we did, if a customer is looking at a quotation for anything, let's say playing golf in La Manga in Spain, and they live in the UK, and we've given them a quotation to fly via EasyJet from Luton and get a taxi for 1 hour from, Madrid or whatever, 2 hours from Madrid to La Manga, you know, they were then able to and stay in the Marriott hotel. They could actually go to the portal and click, I'd really prefer a better flight. Let's do British Airways. Let's with only a 1 hour transfer. I prefer to stay at a better hotel than Marriott. They could all do that by going to the portal and clicking a button. I have a request or a question. We'd say, what is that about? And we'd say, is it about the golf course, the travel, the hotel, or something else? And if they click the hotel, they could just click, okay, I have a question about the hotel, type. I want to know if there are better accommodation options. And by better, we'd ask them what they meant. And that created an alert or a case if you have CRM. And within seconds, somebody in the reservations team could say, okay, well, we have Hilton, right? Or we have the Marriott residence literally on the course of La Manga. So go ahead. But as well as making it easy for customers, though, that process allowed every quotation we sent to a customer was an opportunity or lead. It wasn't an email. So if we know we'd sent it and after 2 or 3 days, the customer hadn't opened it because they had to click on it to open it. It wasn't an email. We would send them a chase up. Hey, we noticed you haven't even opened the quote we sent you 2-3 days ago. And if they opened it or didn't open, if they didn't open it, we gave up after 2 or 3 marketing attempts. If they did open it and didn't book, we would send them a very quick, simple, what was it about the quote you didn't like? Was it was it a bad itinerary? Was it too much money? Was it the wrong? And that closed loop cycle, honestly. So managing your quotation, so managing your potential date, as well as managing the date is just as important as managing the quotation, as managing the booking.
So Alex, so for a lot of small owner operator businesses who either will have a CRM or they won't, or they might have a free version of CRM.
Yep.
And Von, you might have some experience with this as well. How can they really own that personalization process?
First of all, I've worked for companies that have had no budget and no CRM. You can use Excel, you can use Microsoft Access. You don't need to, as you say, there's lots of free versions anyway, but you just have to think of take it all the way back to the customer wants to ask a question. And 99% of people start on a digital platform these days. They will go to a website. So when you click help, contact us, I need a question, get every customer, you want them to have to register ideally. So to send you a quote, I just need your email address. Any more information is a bonus. So I'm going to send you a quote. When you've got the quote, to open the quote, just click on this URL. So you're not sending an email, you're sending a link, which then opens the quote. And when they've clicked on it, and this is all freeware, you can do all of this without big expenditure. You can see I've sent a quote to Adam. He's opened the quote. I haven't heard from him for 24 hours. That's the first thing. But from the customer service things, when Adam opens the quote, instead of having Adam's got a question, no reply at email address, don't ever do that. Don't make it easy for Adam. When he clicks on the quote, it will open the quote in a digital environment, straight in your face, but have a question, want more information, need to make a change, really big in your face things. So you're viewing the quote right along the side, a big button that says want more information or need help, want to request a change. Those are the 3 we actually did. You click on that, and then as a customer, you don't have to say, okay, what's your booking reference, which holiday are you talking about, because it's there alongside it. And if you click, okay, I want more information, then just say to the customer, how do you want to talk to us? Do you want to send a form or do you want to request a callback? Yeah. And if they click request a callback, you're phoning them back, and you know this customer, Adam, wants to ask us a question about the accommodation of this place. So you can make sure whoever makes the callback is someone who has an answer already.
Okay, thank you, Von.
So the last point, just to cover it in the last 5 minutes that we have. So basically, just to kind of reiterate, communication is important because you want to make sure that you have all the information you need before you get to this experience, this date experience or this experience with your customer, and it's not a good fit. You can determine that in a communications process, because the last thing you want is to have not a good fit, or them not have all the information and you get a bad review, right? Because it wasn't a good fit from the beginning. So the last part of the experience is the actual service, right? So Absolutely. Communication goes well. They decide they want to, give the business a try, and you have to ask yourself, am I prepared in terms of when they arrive? Am I prepared? Do I have everything ready? Am I respective of their time? Like, do I have them waiting? Am I attentive to them while they're actually, utilizing the service? Am I attentive to them? Do I make them feel like they're special? Do I make the customer feel like they're the only customer that I have? Am I delivering everything that I promised in my advertise? So in our communication, in the search, am I delivering all that stuff that I said that I could deliver? Again, so I don't want to disappoint the customer, because then they leave and they tell, they leave bad reviews, or they tell other people, and then I don't get any more dates. Doing above and beyond with extra things within that date. Am I opening the doors? Am I pulling out the chairs? Just like on the tour, am I giving extra things? Basically, or also one thing I think is important to note, a lot of service providers do this, just like a lot of daters do. Are they pressuring the customer or trying to upsell them on something? Are they pressuring them into something that they don't want to do, or trying to upsell them? No, I just came here for this dating experience. Or I just came here to take this, bicycle tour. I don't want to buy this right now. There's ways to go about that. And finally, do I leave them wanting to tell their family and friends about this experience that they had with my business or on my date, and want them to come back for more? So tell us again, how that relates to the business process.
Well, the first thing is whether it be a sheet of A4 paper or an iPad or a Google Android alternative, you have to understand, and typically you'll have no more than 30 people on a tour. But if you're huge, you may have 200 people at a resort. But when one of those customers, whenever you're trying to sell something proactively to those customers, make sure you've looked at what you already know about that customer. So Adam's a grumpy sod. He doesn't like to be told about the backstreet tours. Everyone says that.
No, I just don't like to be told about them in brochures. I like to experience them.
Adam likes ice skating in pink tutus. So make sure when you have the ice skating tour in Moscow, pink tutus, Adam, take Adam's face off the screen. I don't want to see the pain. You've got to make sure you don't just blindly try and sell or service things without understanding everything you can about those people. But the simple thing, and Adam, I know you raise the point that a lot of people don't get the information until the customers literally arrive on the holiday. Have a very quick, okay, hey guys, it's our first hour. I want to get to know all about you, and think about whatever you're doing, the 4 or 5 fundamentals of it. So if it's, okay, who here is interested in getting up early to go and see pyramids? Not me. Who here is interested in doing the skydiving off the cliffs? I am, and okay, and capture that, and then make sure, and then when you talk about dinner, who here wants to have dinner on the cruise ship? Who wants to do their own thing? Don't ask the same thing every single day of the 7-10 day tour. Ask it once and then say, right, for the rest of the tour, okay. So I get the impression you're someone who likes to go it by yourself, go it alone. So we won't badger you for the next 2, 3, 4 days, or we won't pressure sell you. But Ron, the most important thing, as we both said, is it's right up front. It's not customer service. Everyone's customer service experience is based on what is important to them. That's why I talk about personalization. And the grumpy, my father cruises, well, he used to cruise before coronavirus, 6 to 8 times a year. He sits on the balcony, grumpy as the most grumpy old sod you've ever had in your life. And I asked him, how was it? And my mum's sending me messages, oh, your father's miserable, blah, blah, blah. And I say, how was it? I loved it. He loves being a grumpy old sod, sat on the balcony, not being bothered. My mum is the one, she's 73, wants to go out and play the crazy golf and the petanque and all those things. And so if she was left like a crazy old git like my father on the balcony, she'd go insane. But Royal Caribbean, to their credit, because they've had enough tours of them, have learned that. And when they arrive on the cruise ship, somehow the concierge, okay, Mike, I've upgraded your cabin to the one with the balcony because we know you like to take it slowly and calm and sit there, football on your iPad. Sue, I've already...
Alex, I'm really sorry, but we're out of time. So just quickly, just by the nod of a head, somebody asked about a good CRM system. I know that HubSpot have a good free CRM platform that you can try if you haven't tried that. So look at HubSpot and their equivalents. We're going to shoot off now and go to the next session. Thank you so much. We're going to, when we share this video, we will share it with some resources where you can go to learn more about this process and how you can nail the personalization when you haven't got a big contact center and a big digital system. So thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate that. Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks, Alex.